So I'm Josiah. I'm a ninth grade student who's enrolled in UAA through the NSET program, and I'm currently doing online school because we cannot go into classrooms. And afterwards, we had a conversation about you and why you were running for the Alaska legislator. And Ms. Nikki asked if I would like to introduce and interview you and ask you those questions myself. And so we scheduled a Zoom meeting today so that I could ask you some questions. So, as you know, there are in the legislature people who are proposing for taxes on oil companies to be raised so that we can make up for the $200 billion deficit we have in our budget. I was wondering, what is your take on taxing oil companies in Alaska to fix the budget?
Well, thanks for the question. I'm opposed to ballot measure one, and ballot measure one is it's a ballot proposition to increase uh, a certain set of taxes on the legacy fields by 300%, I believe the number is, and those tax changes are typically uh, debated by under hearing circumstances of meetings 20, 30 times before changes are actually made. This one change seems to be designed to catch the $1 billion people think that we have left on the table last year. If you ask the oil industry, are they going to leave that $1 billion on the table this year? Well, with the economic downturn and with the just the overall glut on the market now of oil, because among other things, people aren't going anywhere, people aren't doing anything, people aren't burning gas in their cars or heating their workplaces. So there's a glut right now. We're not going to have that same $1 billion left on the table that we might have had last year. The other thing is, if we do incorporate this change, it'll be I think the eighth change in 15 years. And one thing that every industry needs, not just the oil industry, but every industry needs stability. A lot of these industries, they look 10, 20 years off into the future. And when you have changes, like one out of every 2 years for the last 15 years, it's really hard for them to make plans. We've already lost BP, so we know that, yes, there are conditions that will make an oil company leave Alaska. BP apparently found that condition. And I think that we have to protect that industry in Alaska. I am not against having the current oil revenue tax levels examined and looking at it, but I'm a big believer in small corrections. And if we thought we left $1 billion on the table last year, um, the whole idea behind those profits sometimes is to get the companies through the low part of the roller coaster. Last year might have been a high part. This year's a low part. But I'm a big believer in small corrections. And if we think we left 100 billion, I mean, 1 billion, sorry, on the table last year, why go for the whole thing? Maybe change it to where we're increasing it by 300 million, 400 million this year. You make a small change, you monitor it, see how it goes. And then you make another change if you need to later on.
Paid for by Roger Holland, Holland for Alaska, P.O. Box 111852, Anchorage, Alaska 99511.